that question in terms of going green. I'm on the board of Renton Neighborhood Forest in my city neighborhood, planting trees. And it's an initiative with Washington School District to plant 2012 trees by 2012 school sites. It's important that we teach about ecological sustainability in schools through improvement to the curriculum, but it's more important that students get linked in to neighborhood park projects and other things like that. That's what I was thinking.
That's a wonderful question. I started when I headed CCYS something called the Environmental Service Learning Initiative, so that young people in we did it in 8 high schools, would have the opportunity to work on environmental projects in their community. And I think the most important thing we can do, we can recycle, we can build buildings that are green, but the most important thing we can do is really incorporate sustainability and environmental issues into our curriculum and give young people the opportunity to have hands-on experience actually making a difference in their community and really understanding what sustainability is from a real-life experience. And we haven't done a good job of that, actually. We don't have a fully integrated curriculum that includes sustainability issues in all aspects of, at every grade level. And it's something that I think we should actually prioritize, and something I would work on as a board member.
I also think there's a lot more the district could be doing in terms of grading and trees. There's a lot of empty space that could be used better around the schools. And Phil was saying planting the trees. I think there's a lot of opportunity also in partnerships, private partnerships, places like Home Depot and other nurseries, so they can provide a lot of plantings and trees. So outside of schools, it's a pleasurable place for students to spend their time. And that can also become part of the classroom, the extended classroom, for additional science or artistic project and things like that. So I'd like to see a lot more of that. I don't think we're doing that either.
I've had a lot of conversations with teachers about this, about how we can integrate it into teacher professional development and even develop a strand of student leadership in partnership with teachers on green initiatives around the city. So I'm particularly interested in championing from the school board level, it's not just about curriculum, it's about supporting teachers and students together to be leading schools, leading the greening initiative at the school site level. The bond campaign, the bond program that is renovating 96 schools around the city has a good beginning in terms of planting gardens and making sure that our schools are incorporating green policies. So we have to make sure that the district is, over the long term, making that a priority and checking in and hearing from students about what's working and where we need to keep going.
Thank you. So actually, my first introduction to the green policy or green idea came from a student delegate that was at Lincoln, and he really introduced the first recycling policy, and it was actually enough movement that helped create our very pretty youth movements to have recycling all throughout the district, and that was the beginning. And really, that was something educating some youth, educating us adults. And again, I continue to be educated about green policy related to green policies that are happening, environmental issues from young people, because we're doing it right now in the school. So I'm grateful as a school board member to be supporting policies that you know will help your world in the future, whether it's our school gardens, whether it is, our walking school buses, which we're actually encouraging for elementary school students and middle school students, and they're walking to school, bicycling, bike racking school, all those things that we know improve our environment. So again, much of that is policies that are board policies now were introduced to us by you, and I'm grateful to support that work. And I want to hear your voice because you know what we need to help you on. So thank you very, very much. I was just recently in Perspective Conservation Goals, which is a young group bringing politics and environmental issues together, and thinking how to bring those topics together and making them one.
Thank you. I actually was endorsed by them as well, along with Natasha Haynes, who were really, the environmental piece of it is one of my core mission is being on the school board. Our current president, Jane Kim, we developed a policy around a sustainability master plan that's been implemented and is in the works and is going to take some time through the school district. There's also the board commissioner that secured the funding with the city, working closely with the PUC and the Department of the Environment to fund a sustainability director for the school district, which we did not have and we never had. And through his efforts, we've really been looking at how we change our policies around the chemicals that we use in our schools, how we increase the gardens within our schools, how we feed our kids. So the sustainability master plan is very inclusive in terms of not just our environment, but what we put in our bodies. I was also instrumental in the Green Makeover with Ecopedia, which was a contest that we had throughout San Francisco. It was a $250,000 makeover, Green Makeover, which actually the school that Emily's children attend won $250,000 in makeover for their greening. We've also been working really closely with the Green Fest to ensure that you guys have passes to get in and out of those kinds of conferences that are really valuable for you. And the other piece has been working really closely with Valerie Sneaker, who is the Teacher of the Year. She's one of our Teacher of the Month award recipients in the mayor's office, and she's been developing environmental equity at Lincoln. And so this is really core to my beliefs and why the work I do on the school is really important.
I'd like to see if I could do a little something for the environment right now. And you guys in the audience are not able to see this, but sitting at the stage and looking up in the whole back part of this auditorium is completely empty, but there's all those chandeliers up on the ceiling that are blazing with lights. I don't know if it would be possible to turn those off, but if it is, I don't think we could probably miss them very much and probably save a lot of energy. A lot of being environmentalists, I think, trying to be aware of stuff like that and encouraging that awareness, in schools. But I think it's also possible to go overboard. I mean, everybody, politicians in particular, want to jump on the environmental bandwagon these days and go green and everything, and come up with initiatives that are green means one thing and another. And you have to be careful. And sometimes you don't use common sense. These things can do more harm than good. I mean, there's a big scare about asbestos a few years ago in schools. That some walls of school buildings, for example, were constructed with asbestos. And in some cases, spent millions of dollars tearing out these walls and so forth. And you realize later, kind of related, that in some cases, the particular type of asbestos that was in the walls wasn't even that harmful. And in other cases, the asbestos, was potentially toxic and dangerous. But by tearing down the walls, they actually released all the dust and so forth into the atmosphere. And it would have been much safer if they just left well enough alone. They could have saved millions of dollars that could have been used on actually educating people. So, I think it's important to bring personal vegetarian. I think that's one good thing everybody can do. I'd like to decriminalize skateboarding in the city so people have more alternative transportation options and things like that. But I think it's also important to remember to use our common sense about it.
We have an arts master plan that's working in our schools. We need a green master plan, and so I'm really encouraged by what Hydro was reporting on a sustainability master plan. Because my experience is, while certain schools, Rosa Parks, we have this great Green Our School program for $50,000. We have composting, we have recycling, but it's pretty episodic. I think it's uneven throughout the school district, so I'm about systemic change and making sure that things are implemented throughout the school district. And just a final word about the grant that Rosa Parks received. The bureaucratic roadblocks were just terrible. It was supposed to take 6 months to turn Blacktop into green space. It took over a year. And so I'm a doer. I'm committed to making sure that some of these things get implemented with a minimizing bureaucratic roadblocks.
Thank you for your question. And that's a question I think that you heard in my opening statement. I mean, greening our schools is a top priority. And greening our schools in so many ways. I mean, from changing our lunches to make it more local. Yes, we recycle, but do we reduce and reuse? I know I'm going to reuse this for about 2 weeks. Also, making gardens in our schools not only greens it up, but also teaches us how to live that. And I also pride myself on living my values and literally my biodegradable shoes that I'm wearing right now. So it's the way that we're living, the way that we speak about it, and the way that we always have to have it in our minds. And we can green our schools in so many different ways, from food to recycling.